When spontaneity is discouraged, authenticity, realness, that 100 thing, it suffers. And when authenticity is absent on one level, it shows up as a lack of confidence on another level. And if you can't see that, you will spend your life nursing a belief that you're not a confident person and that you'll never become one.
So I would encourage you today to set aside a few minutes, look at your life, make a couple of promises and resolutions to yourself, ones that have high ideals, ones that'll make you better, and start this new beginning, this fresh start today on the right foot.
To have real confidence, you gotta have consistency, don't you? I mean, to have confidence, you gotta have competence. Competence is built through consistency. If you're gonna have real confidence, you gotta have character. And all of this behavioral modification that I know is necessary for us to make improvements in our lives. And maybe it's important for us to have confidence if we're gonna stand on stage and give a presentation or go into a meeting that we don't feel qualified for. I understand that, but my question is, have you put that confidence in the right place? It's not how much confidence you have, it's where you put it that counts.
We're all confident, but it shows up in different ways. Confidence is not all about walking around with your chest puffed out, talking loudly and looking for a fight. Confidence can look like love. It can look like humility. Confidence can look like kindness.
If you want to be a confident person, you have to take action. Confidence is a result of doing something. And so many times people cheat themselves because they lack that confidence, so they don't do what they should do, only to leave saying, I wish I would have done that. I can remember when I was in my 20s, I went to a meeting with leaders that were older than I, and I was overwhelmed by the fact that I was truly, not trying to be humble, I was truly the least in the room. And I could have learned so much from them. In fact, they gave times for us to ask questions, and I held back. And I didn't ask questions, and I left that meeting, and I really realized how I cheated myself. And I determined that day that regardless of how intimidated I was going to become, I was never going to cheat myself again. And that I was always going to ask the question, even though I figured it may be a real stupid question. What was I doing with my confidence? I was making a determination to take action on something that I didn't feel comfortable with. And trust me, I did. And each time I took action, it began to give me confidence.
So what does it mean when you look around and see that you live in a world where humility is weakness and kindness is suspect? What kind of confidence will you have? What happens to authenticity? See, it dissolves because you learn to live a prepackaged life. You learn to accept good enough, and you stop thriving for spectacular. This is self-awareness. And when it clusters and becomes what we call culture, a set of rules to live by. But what we get when we trade in spontaneity and authenticity is a sick culture.
It's very hard, and you have to challenge yourself to discipline your mind to just focus on what are the most important things that you need to do right now in the midst of it. Number one, to fortify yourself mentally and emotionally, to develop a level of mental resilience, because there's so many unexpected things every day. And when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, many people are having mental breakdowns. Domestic violence has increased 40%. Suicide rate is up. And so it shows a state of mind that many people are facing as a result of the coronavirus. So it's focusing one's mind. We can't control the thoughts that come in our minds, but we can control the thoughts that we dwell on.
If nothing ever prevented you from being the best version of yourself, nobody told you you were limited, you had never failed at anything, and you know you wouldn't fail going forward, what would you dream? How big would your dreams be?
The people who wake up one day and decide, I can't do this anymore. I can't live by these rules. I refuse to live a prepackaged life. The ones who decide that only love drives out hate, that fear is not the whole story. That compassion and kindness matter, that mistakes happen, second chances are real, and that laughter can heal. These are the rebels in a sick culture.
Gratitude in advance is the most powerful and creative force in the universe, right? Like the quote reads, be grateful for all things because all things have contributed to your advancement. Therefore, all things should be included in your gratitude, right? Wins and losses, opposition, adversity, challenges, right? Stages and phases, right? Lessons and blessings. And for most of us, 2020, it was a year of pain. It was a year of people look back on it like, man, I can't find nothing to be grateful for. But the ability to learn is a gift, even when pain is our teacher. I think the thing that we must always be cognizant of is painful endings always lead to new beginnings.
But again, how live a life of gratitude? Maybe the question isn't how, but why? Why live a life of gratitude? I think the answer has to do with selfishness. See, I don't mean selfish with a small s. That's when you care about yourself at the expense of everyone else. No, I mean selfish with a big S. That's when you care about yourself so deeply that your care extends to everyone else. Put yourself first. Give yourself an advantage. How do you feel? If I said you could feel revivified and empowered, you would want more of it. Remember, you're being selfish. So if I said you could feel more connected and more compassionate, you would want more of it. You want more of it because gratitude is another expression of love. How do you feel when you are grateful? I've been thinking about gratitude lately and why it's such an important and powerful state of awareness. When you have gratitude, you are holding on to a particular sort of awareness. It's a powerful and transformative awareness. And what's more is that you don't have to do anything to get it. You don't have to buy it or work for it. You just have to live it. I like something John F. Kennedy said once about gratitude. He said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter the words, but to live by them. But how do you do that? How do you live a life of gratitude when you are too busy trying to live? I have enough sense to be grateful when the big things happen. When the growth they found and took 6 days to test wasn't cancer after all. I have enough sense to be grateful when my bonus was a lot more than I thought it would be. You feel like you are not going through life alone. You feel as though someone or somebody is with you. You feel connected to something other than you. You feel cared about. And when you feel cared about, you care about. Don't just think about it, be about it. Gratitude isn't just about thank you. It's not the word. It's not just about the feeling. Gratitude is about living the feeling. Live a life of gratitude. The big things make us pause and reflect. Then we say, whew, thank goodness. But you forget about the small things. You forget how to live in gratitude for the small things. You forget about your warm house. Or if your house isn't warm, you forget about the fact that you have a roof over your head. And if you don't have a roof over your head, you forget about the fact that your heart is still beating. You forget about the people who make you laugh and who make you feel validated or loved. You know, hearing myself say that these aren't really small things. They are things you take for granted so they become small and you stop noticing them.
When you look at over 33 million people have lost their job, this is unprecedented. There's trauma that's going on all across the country. It affects all of us. There are things that we can do and things that we must do to pick ourselves up. Success is not final, and failure is not fatal. We all have the challenge to search deep within ourselves to find our inner hunger, which is our power.
Just take maybe 2 or 3 minutes and ask yourself, what do I need to do today to challenge me, to reach my potential, fulfill my strengths and the purpose that I have in my life? Trust me, If you challenge yourself and follow through on it, it'll be the greatest challenge and give you the highest return of any challenge that you'll ever receive.
Now, my approach to my better future very early on in my career was to just go through the day with my fingers crossed. I sure hope things will change for the better. Then here's what I found out. They're not going to change. When you change, when you get better, it'll get better. Don't put it on someone else. Hope that someone else will change it for you. Take responsibility for yourself. You can't change the circumstances or the seasons or the wind. You can change whether or not you go for the skills, multiply your value by 2, 3, 5, 10. That you've got charge of. That you have control of. You don't have control of the constellations. Learn some new skills. You have control over that. And if you don't, that's your fault. You've got to take personal responsibility. You've got to be self-reliant. Nobody else can change your life, alter your ambitions, pave a golden road for you. It's up to you. Be responsible for yourself. Learn to reap the harvest without complaint. Take full responsibility for everything you do. Be responsible to yourself. It's your crop.
I think there's a different level for you. I think there's a different level for you to get obsessed, crazy, laser focused. I say all the time, our obsessions become our possessions, but we won't possess them if we're not truly obsessed. When you're laser obsessed focused, your obsession distracts you from what you're currently doing, not the other way around. You're not really obsessed with it if you're easily distracted from it. This is so important. You right now can test whether it's your obsession